Hello, and welcome back.
Hello.
So for those audience members who didn't see the previous panel which André participated on, would you, André, introduce yourself and explain a little bit about your role, about esatus?
Absolutely, my pleasure. So my name is André Kudra. I am the CIO of esatus AG. esatus AG is in the space of information security and very strong in identity and access management. And we are very enthusiastic about self-sovereign identity since many years now. So I think in 2016 we started our journey with SSI and have become advocates of the technology very early on. We have made many publications and conference attendances in German particularly. And we are a sovereign steward, and I'm personally also now a board member of Sovereign Foundation. And we see a very vivid and strong future for SSI. And that's the reason why we are focusing our efforts in the identity and access management space so persistently and so enthusiastically on SSI.
Thank you. So then from this perspective, what would you say the different stages of SSI adoption are? Could you walk us through that?
I'm happy to. So I think the whole SSI community is so bullish about the technology that they think everyone is just on the brink of absorbing it at full. But I think we are not there yet. So we are working with the customers to solve particular internal use cases first. So this is not the full-blown SSI solution across boundaries of organizations, across countries, maybe globally. This is doing steps that a customer and an organization can fully control at first. So, for example, identity and access management. An organization can take fully care of its own organization and issue credentials to the own employees. This is not the bright and shiny future of SSI, but that's a first step to learn about the technology and see it in action and experience it and get users buy-in so that it feels natural for them to just use it. And then we can increase the outreach across organizational boundaries. And the appetite will naturally come to exactly do this. And this is where we're starting. So I think we are not starting with a cross-organization, cross-country solutions. We are starting with things that organizations can control. And this will evolve naturally into what we all desire, so that we can use credentials at another organization, from a private setting in a business setting, from a business setting in a public sector setting, and so on and so on. So this is then basically the second stage, but the first stage has value already. And if people see that, then naturally the evolution will come. So that's the starting point where we are still. And I know the community is bullish to get it all happening. And I know that we are having the tech ready to do it, but we have to start somewhere. And this is where we are now. And we have the technology now and the stuff at hand. So we are not theoretically ready, we are practically ready, because our organization, for example, has it rolled out, we are using it day by day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then maybe you could explain that experience a little bit more of rolling it out. What is esatus doing to live this out?
Yeah, so as stated, we are in the identity and access space. So SSI is not just identity and access, but for us it was a natural fit to transform the basically decades of man-hours experience in that space into an SSI solution. So that's what we have done. We have built a complete enterprise-ready identity and access management suite, which we call esatus Self, which basically enables an organization to use SSI to solve their daily identity and access challenges. And we have not only built it, we are using it ourselves. So I think that's always a strong message. So we are not just building it to sell it, but we are using it ourselves. So we have rolled it out to our own employees. We have given them credentials which they can use to authenticate and authorize access to applications we use internally. So we have it at hand to demonstrate it and show it day by day to the customers. And this is exactly how it will work for them as well. And we have it in a completely flexible manner that we can tweak it to the requirements of the customer. But we are, in fact, offering a best practice framework for it to do it. But he can adopt it basically also based on his own requirements. So That's what we're doing. So if you want to use identity and access management SSI enabled today, you can do it. You can have it, and we can give simple credentials which allow authentication to applications that you use every day, like an Atlassian Confluence, a Jira, or the mail server, the intranet applications, Salesforce, whatsoever. We have a matrix of popular solutions which you can just plug and play and enable.
Mm-hmm. So then a follow-up question to that is you've referred to the product itself as an IAM Suite. So why is that, and what does this all encompass?
So we obviously have to look at the full user life cycle. So people who have attended KuppingerCole conferences like the EIC, they know that there's this joiner, mover, leaver thing, and a little bit of additional services like recertification and so on. So basically, we support with the product, we support this whole life cycle. So we have, for regulated environments, we have full locking capability. Obviously, this is not something that you want with SSI, but we can offer to make it compliant even in the banking sector, because we have that locking and audit trail. But the joining is easy. You plug it into your HR system. The credentials can basically be issued automatically, so you don't have to have someone who keys it in. You just connect it to your HR to the onboarding, and then you issue credentials. Issues that prove facts about the people who use the credentials. You can prove that they are a member of a certain department. You can prove that they are a member of a certain project, and you can dynamically adjust it, which makes the mover experience so smooth, because you just don't have to take dozens of applications and adjust the access rights, because you just give them the facts in their hands, in their wallet, with the credentials, and you formulate a rule which gives access to the application based on the facts that the people have in their wallets. And I think this is of such a charming elegance that makes all this, what we have done for many years in the identity and access space, obsolete, because you don't have to fiddle with dozens or hundreds or even thousands of applications. You just do it once, you formulate your rules, which enable the access, and that's it. And if the person leaves, you can actually revoke all the credentials at once, and then the access is disabled everywhere. So I think this is something the world really needs. We are making it happen now with the customers, and yeah, let's see if the appetite goes further for others, and to do it also cross organization.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And another question to this concerning user experience. This is something that is going to be really key to later widespread adoption. So what is key to ensuring this?
Yeah. SSI, to be very honest with you, is a complex topic, and even experts from the industry sometimes struggle to drill through that and totally understand the technical implications, regulatory implications, process implications, and so on. So for identity and access management, it's basically people are used to this complexity, but we want to completely shield it from the end user. So what we have to do is we have to make it as easy as even possible for the end user to work with that. And I think there is a couple of stepping stones to actually achieve that. So today you have obviously a lot of companies who produce wallet apps. So that's exactly what SSI wants. You want to have complete freedom of choice to use a wallet app. But if the end user now has to have 5 different wallet apps or even other applications which have wallet capability, then you want to ensure that the end user is easily able to use credentials from one wallet app in another. So this is something that we have to build in. And it has to be smooth and seamless. And this is something that what the community is striving for, but it's not really there yet. So this is one of our key roadmap items that we want to solve. And the most prominent and pressing thing is actually enable the end user to not do harm to himself with the SSI credentials. So we have to prevent that he has a big issue if he cannot access his wallet app anymore. Because if we empower the end user in the terms of SSI, we have to make sure that he is responsibly handling that power and able to use it with convenience. And these are the main challenges that we are addressing.
Absolutely. Very insightful on this. And so how does the, let's see, you've made some references to SSI killer apps in some of your previous work. So could you explain what these are? Yeah.
I think what we are doing now is we are thinking of the really common things a lot. So common things like using an entitlement to grant access. This is a brilliant thing to do, but this is an obvious thing. Using SSI to represent proof of a degree that you have, proof of a capability that you have to have for your job. So, for example, you have to prove that you are able to drive a bus and you are allowed to do stuff like that. So these are classic credentials that we use from the real world. But I think we have chances to basically reinforce existing processes which are quite cumbersome with SSI and revamp existing processes that that companies have today. So let's see, for example, we have in the banking industry, we have many players who now absorb rapid payment processes, like the players from the fintech industry that you know. So why do we not use, for example, SSI credentials to use it for existing payment processes in banking with IBAN and BIC, and just attest facts to the people that they have in fact a proven IBAN and that the payment process was executed, and in the second instant the person can show it to the vendor where he bought something that the bank has issued a credential, this transaction has been processed. So we can basically use existing processes in the financial industry, in my example, to enable it and make it faster and more reliable with SSI. And basically rebuild this, what the fintech world is proposing to solve, with a completely decentralized manner. So this is one example. There's many more, but I think in the interest of time, this is just maybe one little insight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very interesting. So then going from the implementer's perspective, what is something that organizations and individuals need to be cautious of?
Yeah, I think there's SSI and false SSI. So we have many providers in that space who want to jump on the SSI train and basically reframe their centralistic solutions so that they sound like SSI. So SSI is only true SSI if it's decentralized, if it empowers the end user, avoids login effects, gives him access and control over his own data really immediately and in his personal control, technically and organizationally and process-wise. So if this is not happening, if you detect a service that says it's SSI and it's not fulfilling these attributes, then it's never true SSI. And I think we have to be very cautious about big tech absorbing or trying to absorb the SSI industry, because if we are not adhering to the globally adopted and developed standards and technologies now that are in use and can be used for scale, and this is somehow hijacked by big tech companies, and they say, well, this is SSI, it's completely compatible, and it's in fact not, then we will have from the back door big tech absorbing this really beautiful decentralized solution of SSI, which is end user empowering. And I think this is where we have to be really cautious that we are sticking to the true meaning and philosophy of SSI. Mm-hmm.
Very good. And then perhaps an idea to end with. It's maybe a little negative, but what if none of this works? What if this never gets off the ground? What do we do then?
That's a very, very fair and true question, and I'm happy to elaborate a little bit on that. So SSI is, as we stated, we are in that space since 2016, or even before that. We looked into blockchain and all that before it even came SSI. So from a visionary perspective, everyone should or must buy into that, because it's such a thing that the world needs. So why has it not happened yet? So I know the community is really strong and has endured this also the crypto winter, which was associated with stuff that's non-SSI, but this basically brought the whole industry to a drop. And we have been ready from a technology perspective longer even than now. So everyone who has been sticking around has been patient already. So we are all now keen on getting solutions out. So, but obviously it doesn't require only us, but it requires people who are interested to use it from a business perspective, from public sector perspective, from private settings and so on. So I think even if we are so convinced, we are not the ones to have to be convinced. We are preaching among ourselves. We are preaching to the choir. So this is actually, we have to get out in the open and make it tangible and make it experienceable by people in the outside world. And ideally, they don't even know that they're using it. They just know, oh, it's more secure, I'm in control, it's convenient, and it's solving the problem I have at hand. So we have to, this is also a plea to the industry itself, to communicate the merits without diving into this technobabble. And this is shying people off. So we have to make sure this is not happening. And I think I'm looking to us ourselves. We are our team. They are tech experts, so they can tell you in many colorful words how great SSI is, and you don't understand a single thing. So it's something for techies, but we have to make it digestible for everyone. So this is the challenge we are addressing now, and also my company is very keen on addressing, and we are really starting with a big initiative in that space now. So, but this is obviously just my understanding and the theory behind it. So if we look into what others are doing, we know that big tech, like the existing industry in the identity and access space, wants to fulfill their promise with the status quo. So they don't want SSI. So no one in the classic identity and access management industry is keen on having that. So what is the outcome of that? We will have a prolonged suffering in the identity and access world if we don't adopt digital verifiable credentials at a certain point in time. We will prolong the suffering. And in fact, we have looked at our experiences, and we have come up with a brochure which you can download on our website. It's called Identity and Access 2040: 4 Scenarios of the Future. It's a German paper now. But we have looked at themes like identity chaos. We have that today. We have looked at total surveillance. We have that today. We have looked at mega corporations. We have that today. And we have looked at SSI. And we have looked at what could happen if the world evolves further in these directions. And I think this is, if you look at it and be not an SSI enthusiast, you will see the themes. If they continue like that, this will be an issue. So I think it will happen. I hope it will happen in the true SSI meaning. And I'm very confident that the people who can take the decisions to adopt the technology will see that as well. And so I think we don't have any other choice despite making SSI happen. And if it's not happening, I'm not only disappointed. I think we are also losing a big potential for the world, for making the world more secure and bringing the identity scheme, the security scheme to the internet world, which we are lacking today. So I think it will happen.
Thank you, André, for those really interesting insights and also personal experience of developing and also using the solution. So I appreciate your time. And please, from the audience, if you have more questions for him, post on the wall of ideas, and we will be able to get those to the right person. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Annie.